Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to, I think this is webinar number 11 in the second series of the Independent Gyms webinars. It's the third one we've done today, so it's been a bit full on. This one is a bit different to the previous two. So we spoke about equality, diversity, and inclusion earlier. We listened to the guys at Ashbourne talking about the metrics that you should be measuring in your gym to make your business better. This one, we're going straight in on a straightforward meet the brand. We have in the region of 100 partners on the Independent Gyms platform. Some of them are the big brands that you recognise, like Primal Strength and Grenade. We've also got a lot of useful brands that you may not have heard of before that will still add massive value to your business. So we've brought on a company called OpsPal. Campbell from CC Leisure. He's been in and around the industry for longer than he'd like to imagine. I won't say how long. Long and short of this one, essentially OpsPal is, I'm going to call it an online facilities management tool, but Craig will explain a lot more about that than I will. So this will obviously be posted up onto YouTube, so you can have a rewatch whenever you feel like. We'll have Craig's contact details at the end, and when we post this in the group, you'll hopefully see his contact details and you can reach out via his page as well. So on that note, Craig, I'm going to hand it over to you and away you go.
How are you, mate? You okay? Okay, yeah, so I've been in the industry for about 30 odd years, unfortunately. Yeah, it has gone on a little bit too long, Rob, but yeah, I've been in here a while. I've had numerous jobs. My jobs have been, I started off as a fitness instructor after university. It went to Devere. Ended up doing some consultancy for Devere, left there, went to Fitness First in its heyday when they were at the 500 odd sites. I had the job of a marketing accelerator, which was one of those jobs where they give you a massive badge and a massive title, but no extra money, but make you do a load of work. So that was interesting. Left there, I was the national management trainer for LA Fitness, really interesting in their growth period. I've then done a little bit of stuff in the public and trust sector where I was a commercial analyst, look after around about 600 or 700 sites, looking at their data and bits and pieces. I did a load of work during COVID for SimSpa, UK Active, Welsh government, Scottish government, etc. And that's where I came across this particular product. So I was trying to pull some stuff together for best practice, and I got a call off a gentleman from Reading University who's the head of sport in Reading University, a gentleman called Greg Goddard, and he said, I've got this product, you might want to have a look at it. Now, when I used to work as a commercial analyst, we used to work with the backs of, on the back of some of the large data systems like your Gladstones, your Legends, your Omnicos, XNs, etc. And they used to capture a hell of a lot of data, but there was a load of stuff on a shelf. I'd asked my boss if he could make something. He made something. It didn't quite work as well as it could or should have. And then when this gentleman called out to me, I realized that he was onto something. Sat down with him, started to explain, and this is the vessel or the tool that I've always needed or always wanted as an operator. So what I'll do, I'll jump in and I'll start to give you a little bit of an overview of this. So what does the product do? If you have more than one site, some of you may, then obviously this is a dashboard. You start off with an overview. So I can see here, one risk assessment has further action, 6 actions available, and one task problem that requires action. So this is like an organizational view. We then can go into a site view. If you're a one-man band, that's fine. You just come straight into this. This shows us how many risk assessments we have, how many procedures, how many tasks. Obviously, this is a demo system. And then what it does is it breaks it down so we can see exactly who's doing what in the organization. But I'll take you into these in a little bit second. So you can see here today there's been 9 tasks completed. And that was me 10 minutes ago, just fixing a few things ready for this little demo or overview. So very quickly, risk assessments. Do you know what? These are one of them things, I've always been quite commercial in driving businesses forward. And with health and safety, I just want it covered. If I do health and safety amazingly well, will it get me more customers? No. If I do it really bad, will I lose customers? Yes. So it's more of a maintenance factor than a motivational factor. But in general, I want these covered. So what this product does is it allows you to put your risk assessments in. You'll see that they look like a risk assessment. They smell like a risk assessment. They do exactly what they say on the tin. So the whole idea behind it, any risk assessments that you have now, it's just a copy and paste mission to get those in. Absolutely fine. What this was really built for is, yes, keeping them up to date. So it will tell you when it's due within 30 days. It'll tell you if it's overdue. You can probably do that in Outlook. So yes, whoever owns these will get an email a month before saying, look, they need to be renewed. But what it was really built for was this. It was to tell us who's read them. Okay, this, so in most organizations that they might be updated in a file on a shelf, but are they alive and have people actually read them? So in here, we can see my test demo area is 58% covered. And this particular one on changing rooms is 66% covered. Once I click on the users, I can then go in and find out of my duty managers, leisure assistants, maintenance team, 2 of them have read it and 1 hasn't. Now, the idea behind it, let's just say, for instance, I've seen Polly doing some work and she's not doing this properly. I can ask her to read it again. Absolute breeze, no problem whatsoever. So this is a really, really big tool in terms of keeping you out of court, because not only do we have up-to-date risk assessments, but we know who's read them. Then the next step that we have is if you ever need to make a quick tweak. So if Mark Drakeford or Nicola Sturgeon or Boris Johnson made any changes at all, let's go into, this is a general use of fitness suite. So let's say, for instance, we want to come into this and we want to give it a quick edit. Dead simple. You can come into all the different hazards. You can see here where I've done a demo before saying Boris has made some big changes. I'm going to change that to, let's go from Mark Drakeford. Okay, so I've wrote Mark Drakeford in there. I go through, everything else has stayed the same. It then asks me some simple questions. Have I made changes that makes people want to read it again? Yes, because these were big changes. And have I reviewed the risk assessment? Yes, I have. So I'm going to save it. You will now see that the dates have changed to today and a year from today, which is fine. And you can also see that even though I've read this one before, I now need to read this again. So I would go through this. Now, you can imagine in the back end of the system, there's a whole log, so we can see absolutely everything that gets touched. So if I just pop into here and have a look at a little bit of a larger update scale, let me go a bit further. What we'll see is every single move, every single change, every single thing that happens in the back end of the system. I've just realized that I'm logged on as a ghost in the system but in general, any single thing that happens in the system is all logged. We've got a copy of everything in there. So what this really does, also there might be actions and follow-up bits and pieces. If you have any actions or follow-ups, they all get pulled into the action page, which means that the risk assessment can stay valid by making sure that these things are completed. So that's risk assessments in a nutshell. Dead easy to add in, dead easy to know who's read them, dead easy to pull all the problems together and reminders to make sure they stay up to date. Procedures is where I start to enjoy it, because this is where we start improving the quality of the service that we do. So this is no matter what job role you're in. If you're a fitness instructor, this is teaching them how to set up a certain class. This is teaching them how to interact. This is teaching them how to use the kit and what to correct people on. This is teaching them how to do the measurements, how to do the member's journey, etc., etc. If they're a receptionist, it's how to do the 7 outgoing calls that we'd expect, the 4 ingoing calls that we'd expect, how to change the printer roll, how to accept. You get it. You get the idea behind it. This is anything that you want to train anyone in. Now, of course, here I'm going to show you an example of this is just a health and safety risk assessment sheet. So you can see in here, how many first aid kits have we got, blah, blah, blah. In here, really easy to build, dead easy to build again. I'll show you an example in a second. You might want writing, you might want videos, you might want pictures. You can have anything you like. I do advise that you go down the picture route, because in order for me to do how to clean a toilet, for instance, if I was videoing it, I'd go, here's the cleaning cupboard, here's the PPE that I need to wear, here's the toilet. You start at the top, you work down, you go around this bend here, this is where the wee splash is on the wall, blah, blah, blah. Video, upload, and before we know it, it's been completed. Now, if you have to write that physically, it just takes a little bit longer. So it starts to be a hell of a lot quicker for us. Now, if I go into the edit, I won't go into too much, but it's just simple. Whatever procedures you have now, we can simply copy and paste them in, or we can improve them as we go. So you can have writing, you can have pictures, you can have absolutely anything. This is how we report on it. And again, any quick changes are all very, very easy to do, exactly the same again. So in terms of this, again, we have a little bit of a breakdown of exactly who's read them and who hasn't. So we know whether people have been trained properly. But as you can imagine, let's imagine a new fitness instructor comes on board. We add them to the system, we add them to the fitness instructor group, and then it will say they need these risk assessments, they need these procedures, and these are the jobs and these are the checks that they should be doing on a daily basis or a weekly basis, etc. So it produces the whole induction for them, which is great. Now, again, tasks is where it starts to get really, this is the bit that probably excites me more than the health and safety side of things. Like I said, the health and safety keeps me out of jail. I need it to be done. It's got to be done properly. But this is where we start finding out who does what and when. So again, we can build any checklist, whether it's checking the daily kit, whether it's checking your pat testing, whether it's checking when you do your preventative maintenance and when we hoover out the air conditioning units, anything at all we can build into this, even meetings, anything at all that you want to build in. So let me have a look at an example. Here's an example of an end of shift report that you might want to load every single day. Now, again, when I go into the edit, you'll see what the actual form looks like. 2 different sections. The top half is to teach us. So this bit is to teach us how to do it. And this bottom half is what you want the check sheet or the thing that you're filling out to look like. So this is who's on an early, who's on a late, were there any operational issues, what happened in catering or the cafe, how much did you sell, blah, blah, blah. Whatever you want this to look like, you build it. Anything that's on paper, we can fully replicate. So not a problem at all. The difference going forward is what we have. We end up with this dashboard in the organization of exactly what needs doing today. Red is overdue. Green here means it's available to be done now. Now, if I click on this backwashing, you might not have pools, etc. But you can see as I go back out, what you'll see is as people start to do jobs, they go amber. So you'll start to see around your building what's happening, what's not happening, etc., etc. Now, let's just say, for instance, I am doing the pre-opening tasks. So I start to do my pre-opening tasks. These are really simple, checking the PDQ, checking the computer systems up and running, fitness seats is all ready for customers, studio's been cleaned down, etc., etc. You get the drill. In here, I can tick off, that's absolutely fine. I can write information in if that's what I need. Sorry, let me just go back one. So the whole idea behind it, it just means that we've got this full log, this full place where we can put every single thing in. Obviously, this wants me to understand it in here. Now, when we're doing certain things, we can add problems or quick tasks in. So if I'm doing the open tasks and I've realized I need, let's say I need a new printer roll, in here and put new printer roll needed. Okay, where reception, who's going to do it for me? We pick the team. So it might be, let's say management, because it's probably it may be yourselves that are doing it. We put that in there and now that task will be logged in there. So we've got it right the way through the whole thing. Now, when I go back out of this, you'll be able to see that there's a problem been added to it. So you'll see this update in a second. So the whole idea behind it is it's just so easy to do, so easy to see what's going on. Like I say, any single check, whether it's your Legionella, checking for your showers, whether it's your pat testing, your 5-year and your 5-year periodic testing for electrics, anything at all you want to build into this, you can. Now, obviously, there will be problems that crop up. So what you'll see in here is all your problems will be pulled into one place, anything that's been solved. This is basically saying that this is due today. So after tonight, so this is someone who's been working on putting a bolt into one of the football goals that they have. Now, they haven't hit the date time, which is why it's gone red. And then tonight will be an automatic script to take it back to action required to say, look, Craig Campbell, what's happening, please? I need an update on this. So this basically pulls all your problems into one place so we can definitely manage things to fruition. Again, we have full logs of every single thing that's ever been ticked off in the system and everything that's been missed. We can look at anything. So if I'm having a one-to-one with someone, I can see exactly what they've done. If I've got a little bit of a team, I can show all the instructors exactly what they've been doing. So in the back end of the system, what you'll find is we have all this information just telling us exactly what's happened. If we ever need to go to court, we've got every single thing we need in terms of what we need to get this done. And the last little bit of this is problem manager. So problem manager brings everything. This is where you lot as the owners or the managers are going to be sitting. And what we do in here, it brings everything onto the one page. So if I click on the further action required, it will then take me into this particular one where there's a bit of overcrowding and there's a new gym sheet needed. Or if I click onto the problem required down here and I click on there, it will then again, it will take me to this problem. So I can see that one's been completed and this one still needs updating. I can then come in as the manager and say, do me a favor, I need action required from Craig Campbell. Need an update now, please. Missed the previous deadline. Okay, so I can simply update that, absolutely fine. And you can see there on the right, we had a full sort of history. So in here, we can then see when it was first logged, who was meant to be doing something with it, what's happened with it, who's looking after it now, where is it, and when's it likely to be updated by. So Craig Campbell will then come in, say, I'm working on it, ordered, will be with us by, I'll click down here to do the 20th. Okay, click on there, give that an update, and we've got all the history in one place. So the whole idea behind the product, what it basically does, two things. It looks after compliance to make sure that's all been ticked off and we're all covered, and it drives your business forward. Are you doing what you said you were going to do? You know, are we wiping things when we're meant to wipe them? Are we covered, and are we driving the business? You know, if you want to add any single member of staff onto this, you'd in your dashboard, you'd then be seeing what the marketing people are doing. If anyone does any social media, you'll see when they start to do those tasks. If you do any things like ex-member campaigns, you'll see them as and when they're happening, and you start to get this little overview of who's doing what around the building. Like I say, there's no extra charges for extra staff, no problems whatsoever. If you've got 50 staff or 2 staff, this is exactly the same price, so no problems. In the future, we will bring out other products, like we'll bring out an accident reporting, or we'll bring out asset management or stock control. So our aim is all those folders you have on a shelf in the future, we're going to try and get rid of all of those for you. And hopefully bring it all electrical and bring it all and stop killing trees. So, Robert, any questions, mate?
That was a rapid sort of whistle-stop tour of everything OpsPal, wasn't it? It was great.
Yeah, that was a 4-minute. Sorry, a 4-hour demo in about 10 minutes, I think. So it was a little bit fast, but I do have videos online and stuff of a longer version if you need more detail. But and also anyone can book through yourselves, mate, to speak to us, and we'll give them a full proper demo if you want.
So I've been scribbling down as we go. So I don't know whether it's questions or statements, but just sort of interesting points, I suppose. I'll put here basically. Seems to me it simplifies, but systemizes the boring stuff. It's all the stuff that I've got to deal with that. But it gives you that systemized approach to dealing with things. Tick box exercise, get it done and get it out of your way. So I really like the idea of that. I think that's really cool. And I've also put down evidence of compliance. And I suppose from a health and safety perspective, particularly, like that is the boring stuff. If you've got a documented system like this that literally says we've ticked these boxes, we've done what we've been required to do, away we go. So I think for future, that's a compliance sort of save.
It was interesting because obviously we've got some big players, and we've got, you know, we're bringing this out to sort of, you know, independent gyms and sort of some smaller business. Now at Manchester Metropolitan University, they had an issue. Now their issue was they had a problem. The last time they had a problem before they had OpsPal, it took them nearly 6 weeks to get all the information together, ready to go to court. Once they had a problem with us, it took us 4 minutes 28 seconds to be able to prove that all the staff were trained, that they'd done the checks on that day, everything was covered, and they were fine. So the whole idea behind this is whether you've got a phone, whether you've got a tablet, you know, your normal phone, you can do, it's actually designed more for phones and tablets than it is as I've been showing today on the computer. So, you know, you are right in terms of that tick box stuff and making sure it's done. Yeah, exactly that. But it's also that stuff that drives it forward. You know, have we done have we improved our timetable this month? How do we do it? Are we doing the feedback and following it up and make sure it's all completed correctly? You know, is the cleaning happening the way it's meant to, etc. What my sort of strap line is, the difference between thinking you're okay and knowing you're okay can be quite far apart. So this brings it a hell of a lot closer. This is, once you've got this system, you'll know you're okay, which is obviously where you want to be. Keeping you out of jail and worries and troubles.
Yeah. So thinking about things like the health and safety and the risk assessments and those kind of things, when gyms on board with you, do you sort of handhold to make sure they're ticking the main boxes, or are they preloaded, or is it down to the gym to?
Well, if I'm being honest, this is something I'd probably like to do with a group of people, you know, maybe even through yourselves, Rob, where what we do is we've got a list of 500 different hazards from different organizations. I would like to produce a suite that says, right, these are the risk assessments that the average gym uses, right? These are the procedures that you should, and these are the policies that you should have in place. These are the jobs that you should be doing. These are the checks that you should be doing. Now, we could build that before they even come on board with the likes of yourselves. Now, and then what we do is we would then copy and paste that site, add their staff to it, and it'd be ready to go. Now, we could do it that way, but of course, there's going to be some idiosyncrasies, or there's going to be some individual or specific things that they need. But what they'll also find is we got a review off a customer the other week who'd come on board, and he asked me 2 weeks before we trained him, he said to me, can I have a little play with the system? 2 days later, we get this amazing feedback on LinkedIn saying how amazing it was. And we're like, we haven't even trained him yet. So the actual system itself is really easy to use, which is key. But what you say, I think it's, yes, we can help and support. Now, we're not a health and safety company. We never want to be that, right? We're the vessel to help you control those health and safety. But we work with health and safety companies, so we do know what you need. So if someone said to me, you know, I need, how do I check my kit off properly? Then my 30 years of experience and writing all this stuff for LA Fitness and Fitness First means that we can definitely help them.
Yeah, nice.
But theoretically, at the moment, you're buying this vessel, not everything that comes in it. But I'd love to work with yourselves on this, Rob, to try and produce this is what a gym needs, and then roll it out to people and help them that way.
Yeah, I think that we can definitely take that offline and do another session on that, and try and put a few gym owners into the mix as well. I think that'd be really good. What else have I scribbled down here? Problem manager. I think the problem manager tool is interesting. Is that a way of the, let's say, the users? So I'm thinking the instructors and the PTs that are registered on the system. Is that a way of them escalating issues up to the owner and to senior management?
Well, it's basically, we built in a load of ways to stop the ball from getting dropped. So, you know, if I'm an instructor, in this top right-hand corner, we have a little bell, right? So when I click on the bell, that's where my jobs order, what I need to read is in there. So most of the time they'll come in here, they'll realize they click on something, I need to read this particular one, read, now it's done, perfect, takes me back and they're sorted. So, but it's when they're doing their tasks and if they're doing, I call them fussy customer walks. Okay, so let's say, for instance, I'm doing a fussy customer walk around the building. I can simply write, I can log all my problems, I can log all my quick tasks, and I can look at them in here, or I can look at them under problems, or I can go to problem manager where they all are. So, you know, once a week, I'll be looking to come in here and manage the problems to make sure they get managed to completion. But you're right, the actual problem manager is, as the site owner, your job's to keep this green. Right? If this is green, one, your business is probably going to be flying, and if anything happens, you're going to be safe. So this was just trying to get a one-pager to go, right, this is how you stand at the minute, because you know they're really detailed businesses these that we run. So the idea behind it is this was just a one page to bring it all into one place to go, right, if we manage this page, we're managing the whole organization. Yeah. So it's just to stop it. It's the third layer to stop us dropping the ball.
Nice. I like it. And I think if anybody's like me out there, I am very reactive in my work day. Things turn up and I just do them. But I'm probably not the most organized person. And if I had something like this that was literally a prompt of what to do daily, weekly, monthly, I think it would be a fantastic tool. Admittedly, I'm not running a facility myself. But as a business owner, I think it's a great tool just to prompt you to tick those boxes. Rob,
a business is a business, isn't it? Right. And you know, although you're not running gyms, you know, you still have to market, you still have to have standards, you still need to contact people, you still need to make sure that you're safe in the environment that you're working in your business. So this is the whole point. It's designed around any business. You know, yes, we're in leisure because that's where our expertise is. You know, the gentleman who wrote it, he wrote it to run a leisure centre. That's exactly what he wrote it for. So it's not like it's from another industry and we're trying to shoehorn it in. It's specifically been built for what we do.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. And when I came on board with him, it was about, right, how do we make it even simpler for the user, right? Because I've never been trained in this product. Now, I know it's my product now and I'm part, you know, I'm a part owner of the company. But after about 2 weeks of having it, the previous, Greg, the gentleman who does all the coding, he couldn't believe how I was getting around it. I was like, well, it just makes sense. You know, if I want a new over here is dead easy. I click on tasks, and if I want a new one, I click on new task. Do you know what I mean? If I want to go to find out where the logs are to see my whole log of everything that's been missed, I click on missed tasks. You know, it's dead simple. I put my time range in. I can pick, you know, if it's an individual that I want to find out who's missed, I click on theirs. But the whole idea is it's just simple. And that's what we've been trying. I think what you can tell is you can tell that this has been built by operators for operators.
Yeah.
And like I say, our strapline is, I was at a presentation yesterday with a load of large organizations, and I was saying, if you think that you've got this in hand, then you probably need our help, because our customers know they've got it in hand, and there's a big difference between thinking and knowing. So that's sort of one of our main strap lines that we're using at the minute.
I like it. I like it. Fantastic. Well, I think that kind of, and that's a good sort of first-hand glimpse at what you do. I think it's a useful tool. Hopefully a lot of gym owners out there will think the same. How do their guys contact you to chat, I suppose? What's your contact details, Craig?
Yeah, my contact details are craig@opspal.com. Make sure they say that coming through independent gyms, because obviously the deal that we're doing through yourselves is, in a large university, this is going in at £3,000 a year. And the deal that we're doing for yourself is a light version for smaller users. And it's normally £100 a month, but because they come through yourself, you get it for £50 a month. So that offer is not available anywhere apart from independent gyms. Excellent. So I think it's key. All you've got to do is contact us, ask for a demo. If you go onto our website, which is opspal.co.uk, they can click on there and book meetings. They get access to my diary, so they can book a time that suits both of us. Or they can simply send me an email and say, we're interested, can we have a chat, please, Craig? Either way, we'll follow it up and we'll get it set up for them, and we'll get it done. But yeah, absolutely, just let us know. But it's important that they say that they're with independent gyms.
Yeah, we'll make sure
that way they're going to get the discount that we've done via yourself. So
yeah, brilliant. Yeah, so we'll get them to tag independent gyms in the title of the email. If anybody is interested, obviously reach out to Craig, have a chat, have a bit more of a detailed demo, and I'm sure it'll be useful for you. And then on the last note, you're joining us at our conference on the 5th of July.
I am indeed, yeah. I have the pleasure of doing a session on mind mapping.
Yes.
It's about it's product mapping of the business, and the businesses that we run are really, really detailed. And we normally just say it's like gym in classes, or, we do classes. We don't explain it as well. So this is going to start trying to help people understand that what you do is very, very detailed. It's why it's a hard job and why it's a hard business to run. But it's an amazing business, and it shows it all in one sort of fell swoop. So I'm really looking forward to that. I can't wait.
Yeah, excellent. Same here. So if you're watching, the conference is the 5th of July, Tuesday the 5th of July. Ticket details are on the website. I'll point you to that as well. But yeah, come and join us. Join Craig. Craig, on that note, thank you very much for hosting today. It's been a pleasure listening to what you do. Hopefully, gym owners out there will see the benefit as well, and we can point them in your direction, and you can help each other. So on that note, thank you very much, and we'll speak to you soon. Cheers.
Thanks,